Hi, I'm Shara Miller, President of the Cleveland County Arts Council and the host for Artworks. And I'm glad you're with us this week because my guest is Kenny Walker, who is a longtime friend and an art educator here in Cleveland County. And Kenny, thank you for being here. Thank you. Let's start out with, before we jump into you as an art educator, let's talk just a little bit about you as an artist. When did you develop this love and talent of art?
I think it all began really as a young child, and I really associate my artistic development with school, because I remember just drawing all over my papers for that were other subjects, and I was just always drawing through school. That really kind of grabbed my interest, even though I was listening on wasn't art related. I was always drawing on my paper, and over time I think I began to figure out that maybe I had some talent in art.
Yeah.
So
were there teachers that pointed that out to you, or
not really in elementary school? I do remember doing something for a bulletin board, and the teacher evidently thought it was really good and left it up, I think, for a long time, and I think it was even up years later.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, that must have been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I started taking art class in junior high at Burns Junior High, and then of course I began discovering more about my abilities in art class. So it's sort of a gradual process of developing talent in art.
Yeah.
But there was a moment in my senior year of high school when I was painting a ceiling tile with Paula Spangler, and we were doing this group project. And the day that we had to paint the nose on the face of the person, Paula said she wasn't coming to school that day, and I had to do it by myself. And Paula was a better painter than I was, and I was a little concerned about her not being there. But I took the nose on by myself, and it turned out really good. And I thought, okay, I can really do this.
Yeah.
And that gave me a lot of confidence. So there's always little things like that that sort of build you up over time, and give you the belief that you can be an artist.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the ceiling tiles at Burns High School, because I know from visits up there, have they always been have different classes?
As long as I remember, there's always been a class tile.
Okay.
So I don't know how it works now, but you used to have to be selected to paint the class tile.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
So you're Cleveland County born and bred?
Yes.
Okay. Burns High School?
Born in Shelby, live in Kaiser, and
Yeah.
I live about a mile from where I grew up now.
That's great. And I know you taught at Shelby High School. Were you somewhere before that, or was that?
I started out 2 years in Cherryville, my first 2 years at East Elementary and South Elementary. Then I ended up going to Burns Middle School for 2 years. Then I went to Liberty Middle School in Morganton for, I think, another 13 years before I made it to Shelby High.
Okay, yeah. And I remember you came in behind Ford McDonald, who had been there, I think, 40 plus years, 30, a long time.
I did my student teaching under Ford McDonald, and I believe that was 1992, and he said he was close to retiring, and I thought this might be a good place to work, but it took a long time to ever get back there.
Yeah, it did. Well, and I know you did a wonderful job at Shelby High School, and now you're doing an interim at Shelby Middle School.
That's correct, yes.
So kind of a difference between high school and middle school.
It is. I had experience in middle school for 15 years, but that was also 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, it's been an adjustment coming back, and it's been a challenge, but I've seen good things happening in the classroom, and I enjoy the age. There's, they have a lot to learn. So.
Yeah, and a lot of energy too, I would think. They really do. Well, I think that you talked just a little bit about your middle school or junior high, as we called it then, junior high and high school art days. were there other times that stand out to you as being some of those aha moments, or this is where I belong thoughts that you had?
Before I became a teacher?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I didn't decide I wanted to be a teacher until midway of my senior year of high school. And referring back to the ceiling tile that we did, that really was a big moment of me believing that I could be an artist. And then I received the Teaching Fellows Scholarship, so naturally,
Yeah.
I became an art teacher with the opportunity that the scholarship gave me.
Yeah. Who was at Burns at that time?
My first art teacher, well, at that time was Myra McNeely.
Okay.
But
what
I
I
also
thought.
had Beverly Putnam as an art teacher and Pat Green at the junior high.
Right.
So I really thought a lot of all three of them.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause
great
that was-
ladies, great teachers.
And that was my favorite place to be, during the school day, was in art class. I knew there was something different about art, that it just felt different than the other classes, but now we know, or I know, it's because you're working another part of your brain that's not getting attention in maybe your
right.
academic subjects.
Yeah. But that can help in those academic
yeah.
subjects too. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. More, I think, are starting to understand that, but a lot of people don't realize that how the arts, whether it's the visual arts or music or dance or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that helps you in all aspects of life and whatever career you pursue, because it really makes you a better thinker, a better creative problem solver by being in art.
Yeah. I recently saw something on television, an interview with a doctor, a physician, and talking about the arts and the importance of that, and how it really doesn't just help students while they're in school, but helps all of us throughout our lives to be healthier. And I need to go back and watch that piece, but we'll get back to you. So, okay, so you graduated from high school, you went to college. Where did you go?
Appalachian.
And then started teaching and sharing your influence with other young people, and so talk a little bit about your classroom days with students.
Well, it's been really good. There's certain days that aren't good days, but when you look at the big picture and look back throughout time, I would say it's really rewarding. I've really enjoyed seeing students make progress artistically, and not that all of them are going to be artists. Only a small percentage will probably pursue art, but to see growth in the individual has been really rewarding. And another thing, this is off the topic of art, but coaching has been a big plus for me throughout my years of teaching. That's been just a really good motivation to keep me, I guess, interested in the students, just to get to know them in another aspect other than just art class.
Right. Now, are you still coaching?
I am, yes.
Okay,
So I still coach at Burns High School,
Okay.
Cross country and indoor track.
Okay, good.
But I started coaching middle school track at Burns Middle School my third year of teaching, and I've coached almost every year since then.
Yeah.
So that's been nice to build that sort of relationship with the student, outside of art class.
Are there a lot of crossovers? Students that...
Art students and track runners?
Yeah.
More so in middle school than I've experienced in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that. When they get to high school, they sometimes have to make that choice.
And of course, I'm coaching at Burns High School and was not teaching at Burns High School,
Yeah.
so didn't really get a connection there between art or the runner.
Yeah, but that is neat. That's an interesting dynamic that you have.
But I've seen some really good athletes that are good at art as well, and that might be something that would surprise people. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it would probably surprise people, but that's that stereotype that we
Yeah.
have a lot of times, you know, that athletes are this type person and artists are this type.
Yeah.
And I think, though, that just thinking through things, like you said, trying to think creatively about problems. Athletes have to solve problems too,
Yeah.
you know, when they're out there on the field or wherever they are.
There might be as far as visual skills, probably a relationship there too.
Yeah, yeah, that spatial aspect of it, that's interesting. Haven't really thought about that
Yeah.
before. So, and through all of this, through teaching, and I'm sure, because I hear it from a lot of teachers, you don't have a lot of time for your own art, but you have continued to be an artist yourself.
I have. I've you know, I don't get a lot done because of teaching, and after retiring from Shelby High, that I was determined that I would get more work done because I would have some extra time. But then I've gone back now to Shelby Middle. I'm also teaching at Spartanburg Community College and continuing to coach. So I really haven't found the time yet that I need to pursue art like maybe I should.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe after the Shelby Middle interim's over, I'll start pursuing art a little, you know,
Yeah.
a little more than I have in the past.
Well, they will miss you at Shelby Middle, just like they missed you at Shelby High School. But that could free up some time
Yeah.
for you. So, well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, talk a little bit about the student art show that's at the Arts Council right now, and also talk about an exhibit coming up in the future with you and your son. All right, we will be back in just a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Deb Harden, host of For Your Information. The goal of our show is to educate and entertain you about all things pets throughout Cleveland County. We have various guests joining me each month to talk about dogs, cats, pigs, whatever kind of pets you can think of. Also each month, we will be joined by some furry friends looking for their forever homes. For Your Information each month right here on C19 TV and online at www.c19.tv.
Here in Cleveland County, many children struggle to develop due to the lack of guidance and shortage of positive role models. At the Boys and Girls Club, we make it our team's mission to aid your child in becoming a better student and, more importantly, a better person with a brighter future.
When your child comes to the club, you can be assured they are being guided in a manner that is beneficial to the growth as an adult that is visible in their lives. Please consider giving your child the opportunity to be the absolute best they can possibly be.
Please support your local Boys and Girls Club today.
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
144 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and 2 others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, PBS, however.
Wes.
West.
Well,
Ladies
and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Arsenic, cadmium, fluorine, formaldehyde, rubidium, lithium.
Do yourself a favor and don't image search for exploding e-cigarettes.
What you don't know about e-cigarettes can hurt you.
Are you ready to take all this in?
Welcome back to Artworks, and my guest this time is Kenny Walker, and we've been talking about Kenny's career direction and education in art, and as a teacher now. working with other young people to help them grow and improve in their art. And any thoughts? Well, let me back up and put a plug in for the student art competition that's going on at the Arts Council right now. We have a lot of artwork. I think I didn't count them all. We usually have between 700 and 800 students that enter the show, and all the way from kindergarten up through 12th grade. And so it's a lot of wonderful artwork, and we appreciate you and all the other art teachers for the work that they do to get the student show ready, and want to encourage people to come and enjoy the show. It's up through the end of April. But after that, later on in the summer, the Arts Council is going to host a very special exhibit with your artwork and your son, Austin's artwork. So you said Austin's a little more excited than you are maybe about this?
Well, I mean, we're both excited about it. It's a really neat opportunity to have a show, father-son art show.
Yeah, yeah.
And he is an outstanding artist, and probably a lot more advanced than I was at that age. So he's got some really good work. So I look forward to that show.
I think it will be a great show, and I will take the blame for this because I had some pictures of the work that y'all submitted to our county competition last year, and one in particular that I really liked was, I believe Austin did it, but it was from a photograph of you and picking blueberries or something like that. And I thought how special that the son did a portrait of the father, and then you each had portraits of each other that we had in that show. So I'm excited for there to be a gallery full of the Walkers in there.
so yeah, his blueberry picture is a color pencil piece, and I mean, it's really outstanding. And he worked a lot on it during his college class at Milligan. He was able to do an independent study, and that's where the bulk of that work was done. So that was a really neat opportunity for him to have a class where he could really sort of do his own thing. You know, it's a really nice work.
Well, we'll have you back on, or either Austin, one or the other of you, or maybe both if it's a tight set here, but before that show or during that show, we'll have y'all back on so that, as a teaser, so that people can come in and see your work. But with the county student show that we have had for years, we've done that at the Arts Council, and to me, it always signifies that it's springtime, and that means it's almost spring break, and which leads into the summer. It's just kind of one of those calendars for me, I guess, or clocks. But thoughts on any other thoughts on the importance of art education? I know you were telling me before the show about what you're teaching at the community college, the not cultural arts. What was
Intro to Humanities.
Intro to Humanities. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I'll back up when you asked me where I went to school.
Okay.
I also went to Northwestern State University to get a master's degree in art. Now, that was in 2013, so I did that with the idea that maybe I would get a community college job, sometime. So that never really happened until I retired, and then it was available at Spartanburg, which really is the Gaffney campus where I work.
Okay.
But anyway, in the fall semester, this past fall, I taught art appreciation, and currently I'm teaching Intro to Humanities. So I was surprised when I was asked to teach that class because it involved not only visual art, but music, dance, cinema, and theater. So, those subjects aren't subjects that I'm very knowledgeable in. But, I've been reviewing things with those subjects, and it's been a fun class. It's gone very well.
Yeah. What ages are those students? Are they traditional college
Mo-
age, or do you have
most
the
of
older?
most of the students are right out of high school, within 1 or 2 years from graduating. Sometimes I get a student that might be like dual enrolled in high school and taking college classes. And I also have had older adults like my age. So you just don't know what
It's
age
kinda
you
all
might get.
over,
It
yeah.
could be any age, but the majority are recent high school graduates.
Yeah. Now, are these, is this an elective for the students, or are some of them maybe going to major in art?
Probably not. I think for most students, they're getting a humanities credit.
Okay. All right.
So I haven't taught any actual studio art yet there.
Do you think that'll be
I don't know. The school's really growing. I think it has an enrollment of 6,000, and they're really trying to grow the Gaffney campus. So it's possible that I could take on a studio class at some point.
That's interesting.
But back to the student art show, I want to say something about it.
Yeah.
When I was teaching at Shelby High, that's really the biggest event that we had each year. The students were really motivated to do well for the art show. So that was a really important thing for them. And I think the ones that were fortunate enough to place in the art show, that's a really big moment for them. That can be a significant event really in their life that kind of builds their confidence to pursue art, because I've had a lot of students from Shelby High that actually did pursue art in college and are working careers as in an art related field.
Right. And that's good to hear. It really is, to know that something that we do, that we host, means a lot to children, to the students. And I can see that, especially with the elementary students. They come in and having their art in a gallery, to them, it's not just the Arts Council in Uptown Shelby. To them, it is a gallery. It could be the Met or...
Yeah, and it's not always about the win, even though that's big.
Right.
I noticed that each of my middle school students that are included in the art show seemed really excited about being part of it.
Oh, that's good. That is really good to hear. And I do remember you and other teachers saying that there aren't a lot of times that art students get recognized like that. There's not a championship game. There aren't that many competitions at the school level, and so to be able...
And that's why the county competition was so big for us, when I was at Shelby High, because that was our championship event.
Yeah. And I think I realized that early on, the competition between the art teachers, too.
We were very competitive.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were, counting up those awards. So, and that's great. That is great. It shows that passion that you have for, not just for art, but for your students. And so that...
So when we were talking about art and athletics being related, there's another connection.
Yep.
I mean, it's a competition.
It is. It really is. And I remember explaining that to school superintendent one time. I said, you just don't realize how important this is for not just the students, but the teachers too. I said, this is important to them.
Another big moment for me as an artist, when I graduated, I feel like when I went to college, I kind of took a step back artistically. I wasn't really doing good artwork. And then after I graduated and got a job teaching, I started doing art again. I think it started becoming a little better, and finally I got to the point that I was ready to enter a piece in an art competition. And I think this was about might have been my 5th year teaching, and I entered my first open art competition in Valdez, and I got first place. And that was really significant, because that motivated me to continue on pursuing art.
Yeah.
So that's why with the art show, with the people that are fortunate enough to win something, I think it's a huge motivation.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you don't win, that's a motivation too.
You're exactly right. Yeah, to get it back in there
Yeah.
and work a little harder. I think you're right. So, so I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Any other thoughts on the importance of art education?
Well, I think it's important to keep it in school. You know, that's always been a debate throughout the years, especially with elementary school.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to have art in elementary school. I think they need to be exposed to that and allows them to be creative. And as I said earlier, a lot of your academic classes don't really engage the part of the mind that art does, and I just feel like we just need to keep it in the schools.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I do. I really do. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being an art educator and for the role that you've played in so many students' lives and continue to at different levels. We appreciate that. We really do. And like I said, we'll have you back later on before or during the exhibit with you and Austin. That's one that folks need to be looking for because it's going to be a great one. But in the meantime, please come out to the Cleveland County Arts Council and see the student art show that's in right now. Wonderful work. You will not be disappointed, and it will help you to feel better about our future and the future of our young people. Thanks again, and we'll see you next month with Artworks.
Hello, I'm Tony Fogelman, Vice President of Workforce Development here at Cleveland Community College, and you're watching C19 TV, broadcast service courtesy of Cleveland Community College.